Here at Rio Tinto NZAS, or New Zealand Aluminium Smelter, we consist of a workforce of around about 1,000 folks here on site. We have 3 large operational departments on site, and we work together in complex ways to make some of the world's lowest carbon, highest purity aluminium. We're incredibly proud of the work that we do here. We're proud of the role that we play in Invercargill, in Southland and in New Zealand more broadly. 2024 saw our largest ever demand response at 205 megawatts. The team here at Tiwai is incredibly proud of keeping the lights on across the country at the time that the country needed it most.
Critical risk management has been around since 2016, but it's something that we're actually been building on for quite some time now. So we actually have a 3-tier system that starts with the person doing the work, then their leader will check in the field, and then a senior leader check of the actual control process. And it's been extremely effective at reducing the number of significant incidents that we have, to the point where Rio Tinto went fatality-free for a number of years. That's the first time in our 150-year history. And what's the secret sauce of our health and safety performance? It's our leaders. The leaders' time in the field for us is crucial, and that's from the GM all the way to the crew leader who's actually dealing with the shop floor teams. First thing they'll do is go to a toolbox session in the morning, and they'll spend time in the field talking to people, showing care, courage and curiosity. I implore everybody, if you're not doing that, think about your leadership time in the field. It's so important to show your teams that you care about them and that you're curious about what work has done is like for them.
We have a formal recognition system, the GM Innovation Awards, where people that do come up with the improvement ideas, they can showcase them in front of a panel of judges and go in to win their particular section. We also have a very formal dinner and celebration ceremony at the end of the year where we actually pick an overall winner for a number of our categories.
The thing that keeps me up at night is the stuff that I don't know. You can spend as much time as you like in the field, but sometimes you can walk past things that you just don't see. And that's why it's so valuable to have fresh eyes coming onto site, because sometimes the next event is hiding in plain sight, and we've been walking past it for such a long time without actually truly seeing what we're seeing. But my one piece of advice is I would actually use our care, courage and curiosity values that Rio Tinto holds so dear to heart, and use that curiosity one. We can never be complacent with what's going on in the workshop floor. You should always have a chronic sense of unease and always be curious about what's really going on out there.
You think about how can we create a culture where people turn up to work with a mindset of how can I get in front of that next incident. I truly believe if people think like that, that's how we're going to improve our safety on site. Because the people that do the work, they truly have the ideas and the intel, I guess, to make the improvements to make the place safer.
One thing we can continue to do better here at NZAS is communication. We have lots of different ways in which we communicate, but we are looking at how we can improve our video comms, how we can spread learnings across the Rio Tinto group, across site, and looking at all those different channels to tap into all the different crews far and wide, so that those learnings can be applied in the work that they do to make the place safer.
My key reflection from today, it's an incredibly complex business with 1,000 team members, to see how they engage with those team members and the very structured approach being taken to the start of every shift.
What I really thought was amazing was when the person that was talking at one particular time started talking about the risks of the day. Everyone took take 5 books out of their pocket and everybody wrote it all down, and then that sparked off another conversation. I've never really seen a toolbox or a shift start meeting that was so engaging with so much participation before, so that was a pretty cool thing to see. Well, one of the biggest fears you can have is whether or not you're doing enough in safety. Now, the only way you can really answer that in advance is to meet people who are doing similar work to you at similar levels with a similar passion to health and safety. And having that engagement with that community and that environment of other people with like-minded abilities to share and learn, that's the only way you can actually tell yourself internally whether you are doing enough for health and safety and looking after all of the people that you have the privilege to lead.
You never know what you don't know. You never know the questions that you're not asking. So to take my worldview and challenge it by hearing others' worldview and to learn from others is the reason we're part of the forum.